Let's talk about how to pass Blackrock's video interview in 2022. Hi guys, it's Mike here from Job Ready English, here with a new Pass the Video interview for 2022 with updated research and resources. If you want more videos like this to pass the interviews for world famous companies, make sure that you subscribe to the channel, like this video, and drop us a comment down below about a company or a topic that you would like to know to help you pass your next interview and get your next dream job. And guys, for the first time ever, we're also going to be releasing products which are specifically targeted around individual companies. So down in the description below, you're going to see a link to a product which is going to contain the research note for Blackrock, templates, worksheets, examples and videos which are specifically designed just for this interview. Really looking forward for the feedback on it. It's the first time that we've ever done something like this because we've had such a strong demand for new digital products which are cost effective and helpful for you to make sure to give you the best chance to pass the interview. So today we're going to be talking about Blackrock, one of the most famous investment management firms in the world, and also a company that is notoriously difficult to get into. Some would probably say slightly more difficult than Goldman Sachs. So the way that we're going to present the Pass the Video interviews for 2022 is that we're always going to have 5 fast facts that we've researched about the company. We're going to tell you about the interview format and what you can expect afterwards. And lastly, we're going to get into the questions that you're likely to be asked, some thoughts about how to answer those questions, and also some other questions that came up in our research, because I know that people from around the world watch our videos, so we want to make sure that we give everyone a fair share. So without further ado, let's launch into 5 fast facts about Blackrock. Fact number 1, Blackrock has over 18,000 staff in 38 countries which speak over 80 languages. Fact number 2, Blackrock, if you can believe it, started off as an 8-person startup and has grown to be a global investment management company with interest and investment around the world totaling billions of dollars. Over 20,000 new jobs have been created in the UK through Blackrock's investment, as it invests heavily into new companies, into real estate, and also growing existing companies. Fact number 4, Blackrock has been in the UK for over 50 years, investing money on behalf of its clients. And finally, fact number 5, in the UK alone, Blackrock has over 3,000 staff and manages over 10 million pension schemes for British citizens. So let's talk about the video interview format for the many thousands of you that watched the Blackrock Pass the Interview video in 2021. You'll be pleased to note that as far as we can see from our research, which is all from publicly available sources like Glassdoor, it would appear that their video interview format has not actually changed. And it's quite cool actually. It's a virtual cover letter, which essentially only asks 2 questions, which is why Blackrock and why this role? Potentially, you could also be asked why you, but that's going to be contained in some form of a motivational question or a why question. Now, if you're not really sure how to answer these, I'm going to go over these in brief. But if you want some more help, if you want some templates, examples, worksheets where I break it down step by step, then check out the link in the description below where we've got a custom-made digital product just to help you pass the Blackrock video interview, including the research note that I'm referring to, which we generated this month, so you can get the latest information. So let's go through the video interview format, and then we're going to talk about those specific questions. Well, you can expect to have 90 seconds to answer and 90 seconds to think. And there's going to be 2 questions. So the video interview itself is pretty short. Afterwards, you can expect to be invited for a face-to-face interview or a telephone interview, and then for an in-person assessment center. What we tend to find with investment banks and investment management companies is you tend to get specialized pretty quickly because you're going to speak to the people who you're going to be working with in that department. So for example, if you're working in real estate investing, then your next interview might be with a junior member of that team or with an analyst, and then then later on with a director or with a manager before you're finally being asked to come down face-to-face for an assessment centre. So that's the kind of standard format that you can expect. Always remember that when you apply for a job, if you know that they're going to be giving you a video interview, you're probably going to ask to go and do the video interview almost immediately. You'll generally have 5 days to submit it, so don't freak out, but just be aware it's a fairly short time frame for you to go from, oh, I'm going to apply for a job, to all of a sudden like, holy crap, I've got an interview, which is why being able to prepare in a short space of time and understanding the mechanics and principles, in this case, of cover letters and motivational questions is so important. So let's talk about how to answer that question. So how would we answer why Blackrock, and how would we do that in 90 seconds? Well, first of all, I've already given you some facts. So we're looking for about 4 to 7 facts, depending on how quickly that you speak. Generally, I like a script that's about 125 words per minute and no longer. I find that someone speaking faster than 125 words per minute tends to gasp a lot, or kind of your mouth gets really dry and you find that you can't really breathe properly. But that's kind of what you're looking for. So you're looking for a script of, I would say, 150 to 200 words and about 4 to 7 key facts. Now, an important thing to recognize when you're presenting these facts about Blackrock is, number one, make them different, so they can't all be financials or all be corporate social responsibility, and also give your opinion in the sense that, why is this important to you? Why does it matter? What do you think? Why does that motivate you to apply for Blackrock? Otherwise, you're just reading out a shopping list of facts and it sounds quite boring. Now, for answering why this role, always remember that this is a 2-part question, and we've covered this many times in the past the interview videos over the years. Namely, it's what will you do and why are you the right person for the job? So what will you do is going to be contained in the job description of the job that you are applying to. So make sure you read that job description and understand what you would be doing day to day. Who would you report to? What type of work would you need to generate? Are you client facing or non-client facing? And so on and so forth. Do you need any hard skills? What soft skills do you need? Are you going to have any type of training that you're going to be doing, any qualifications that you're going to be going for? And this is just so that your employer, Blackrock in this example, can think, oh, they know what they're going to be doing. They're not just applying for a random job. Why you, in terms of why you're the right person for the job, or the skills that you have, could be your work experience, your transferable skills. It could be your hard skills, maybe your Excel, your green sheeting skills, working with Python, using Bloomberg, and so on and so forth. But just something that says, I am going to be making a brick wall, and previously I have been a bricklayer. So like, oh, cool. So you know how to do this thing. And if you don't worry about it, but you just want to think, how can I put these things together? And if, say, for example, you did get something which is why you, personal introduction, tell me about yourself. On Job Ready English, we've covered this a couple of times. I did it recently. If you type in tell me about yourself, Job Ready English, or how to introduce yourself, then you'll find a couple of good videos and also a handout about that. But we're really looking for, what are you doing now? What have you done in the last 3 years? What do you want to do? So it's the present, the past, the future, work experience, extracurricular activities, and skills and interests. Those are kind of the 6 things that we like to cover in personal introduction. Now, if through all of this, you're sitting there and going, well, I could say that, but how am I going to say that in 90 seconds? My answer to you is practice. So generally, whenever I've worked with clients over the years, or worked with people who book me by the hour, or if they're clients who want to take me through, who want me to take them through the whole process, they tend to run long. So they'll run about 2 minutes, 3 minutes, maybe even more. And what happens is, as they repeat, they refine what they're saying. Much like telling a good story, as you do it more and more, you get better and better, and you kind of know where the punchline is, know what are the things that people are going to enjoy. So that's really what you're looking for. You're making sure the practice. If you're wondering how many times, I tend to say more than 5. I like repetitions of 3. There's a video on our YouTube channel which is called The Rule of 3. And this is about 3 repetitions. It's also something that I cover in more detail in our giant interview success secrets course, which is down in the description below, which has got like 120 videos and 10 plus hours and content and God knows whatever else. But this is something that I really like. So you give your answer, you record yourself and you watch it back, and you do that 3 times, quick succession. You'll find that the improvement that you make is absolutely vast. It's really very quick, and it's something you can do in 15 minutes. And if you do that 3 times, you're golden. The last thing to say about this, as much as possible, you want to make sure that you're moving away from a script. So as quickly as you can, turn that script into bullet points or on some sort of index cards, and then be trying to recite it in the sense that you're covering the key points. It doesn't have to be from memory. That's really not that important. As long as you're covering the main bits. When you're trying to do something fluently, it's always going to be different. So don't worry about that so much. Just make sure that you're not reading mechanically or robotically from a script. So that's the questions you can pretty much expect to get. But just in case, we pulled out a couple more questions in case you're like, well, actually in the United States or somewhere else, we tend to get other questions. So here are a few more. What BlackRock values do you have? So BlackRock call their values principles, and they have 5 of them. It would be a really good idea for you to go and read up on those. Now, for anybody who says like, well, everyone's company's core values are the same. They kind of are the same, if I'm honest. Like when I've looked over probably a couple of 100 different companies over the years, they do tend to be the same, but the language tends to be different. The way that they describe them tends to be different. So for example, BlackRock, they have something which is called One BlackRock, which is about unity as a company, and they talk about Aladdin, which is their shared computer software that they use. That's something that's quite unique to BlackRock that couldn't be said anywhere else. And then you pick out a value, you would demonstrate that with an example, and possibly use the language that BlackRock uses in terms of your answer to really demonstrate that value, or in BlackRock's case, that principle that you demonstrate. Tell me a time you worked well in a team. Standard competency question, standard star-based question, making sure if you can, pick out an example that's from work. If you're like, oh, but I don't have any work experience, well, pick out something from studies, pick out something from volunteering, extracurricular activities. If you're watching this right now and you're like, but I don't have any experience, I don't have anything out of school, go and get some experience. There's nothing stopping you to do some volunteering, to go and do some extracurricular activities, to really broaden your horizon a little bit more than TikTok. Right? So just go out there and go and have an experience that's not based through a screen. That's not anybody else's fault. That's something that you have the power to change. When have you faced a challenge? Working at BlackRock is a fast-paced environment full of adversity and full of really challenging situations with some of the brightest minds in the world. So you're going to need to demonstrate the ability to solve problems quickly, to overcome these problems and offer a really good solution. Generally like a difficult problem, something you faced at work, maybe a problem that you struggled with in your schoolwork, or something that you've tried to overcome yourself. But when you think about it, think about a piece of resistance that you have had to go through. An example that I can think of is many years ago when I used to play chess as a kid, and I remember for quite a while it was very good and I'd always win, and then I started playing people who actually knew about chess, and I'd do openings and they would just beat me time and time again, and I got so frustrated by this. But when I went away and really thought about it, I thought, well, I just need to learn those openings, and then I'm not going to keep falling into the same traps, because this is a standardized process. And once I did that, then I was able to level up and improve my game and get better. Where do you see yourself in 5 years? The answer is always here, probably in some form of managerial position, managing some clients. And it's also important to think about, well, what is the career trajectory? Is there a specific niche or area that I really want to concentrate on? This is quite important across finance, actually. A lot of people will be like, oh, I want to work in asset management. It's like, cool, what type of asset? Ultimately, if you speak to people who've had a long period of experience with any kind of investment management, finance, asset management, trading, they specialize in something very particular. It could be oil futures. It could be agricultural exchange traded funds, it's always a very tight niche that they really know the ins and outs of. They know all the key indicators for, and therefore they know how to trade with their own money or with their clients' money. So maybe try and think about, what is it that I'd love to do? Would I like to work in real estate, based in, office real estate in New York? Am I really interested in agricultural futures in France related to fish? It's just something to think about, but definitely think a little bit beyond, oh, still here, still doing this. Demonstrate a little bit of curiosity would really be a good thing. So there you go. That's how to pass Blackrock's video interview. So good to be back, to be churning out more Pass the Video interview series. Can't wait to see you for the next video. And guys, don't forget, if you got to the end of this video and you're like, oh my God, that was super useful, but I don't quite know how to put this all together myself, then check out the link to the product in the description below, because it's going to provide everything that you need to get prepared for your upcoming Blackrock video interview. Don't forget to like this video, drop us a comment down below, let us know what we did well, what we did badly, what video you'd like to do next, and most importantly, good luck.